Welcome, people, to another episode. In this episode, we're going to be looking at the reason why a Polish MP, actually, not a Polish MP, a Polish MEP, so he's literally a member of the European Parliament. He was recently banned from the UK. Do you want to know why? I think I know why. I think most people know why. However, some people do not agree on why he was banned. They don't agree on the reasons why he was banned, literally. To me anyway, I feel there's a need to look at the actual country it comes from, to understand why people are viewing his views that way, literally. The country he comes from, obviously, is a great country, and that's the country of Poland. Poland is obviously viewed in a certain way by certain countries and people. For example, in the UK, a number of black people and Asian people view Poland as a racist country. And that's because of what they hear from the media. They've obviously heard a lot about Poland via gov.uk, for example, or by hearsay, or by mainstream media, literally. But let me show you how Poland looks like. Somebody would want to put graffiti all over their van. I'm just in the town center of Warsaw. Let me take you around to show you what happens on a Saturday afternoon. Let's go. Okay, it's a Saturday afternoon in Warsaw, and I'm just walking around the town center area. I think there's an event going on today. There's a lot of people wearing costumes and queuing up to enter a building, but I'm not too sure of what the occasion is. But a lot of people are queuing up, and they seem to be dressed in fancy clothing, literally. Who knows what they are waiting for? So Warsaw is known as a bubbly city anyway. It's one of the major cities in Europe, especially in Eastern Europe anyway. I've never been to Eastern Europe before. This is my very first time in Eastern Europe, and I seem to be enjoying the vibes though. People are just too nice and very friendly and engaging, literally. They're very supportive as well, which is really good. That's what you need. Also, there are a lot of people out here drinking, having lunch with their family and all that jazz. So it's good vibes all through. So the weather in Warsaw in September is okay, literally. It's not too cold and it's not warm either. So what I do recommend when you come here during September is to wear like a light jacket. I wouldn't advise you to wear a t-shirt though, or like a top. I would say wear a light jacket or a cardigan, unless you're going to get cold and you don't want to get cold on your holiday. So I recommend you obviously wear something to keep you warm. In terms of transportation around the center area, they have a lot of scooters you could rent, and they also have a lot of bikes as well that you can actually rent. So that's an option. Also, you can walk around because most of the touristy sites are literally a walking distance, so you wouldn't have any issues getting to the place you want to go to. Also, I'm thinking of going to a place called Krakow. The Polish call it Krakow. I think I've said this in one of my earlier videos anyway. People are just telling me that it will be good to go there just to kind of see the difference between Warsaw and Krakow. or Krakow. So it'll be good to go there. And also I just want to see what they have there in terms of like tourism, because some places tend to have more touristic activities compared to some. Even though it's the same country, the culture might be different. I suppose the culture is different anyway, because Krakow, I'm sure they have their own things that they do. The sort of people there would be different as well. They might even have an accent. They might have a Krakow accent, who knows. I'm not sure if they have accents around Poland anyway, but in most countries they do. So if you go to America, obviously the Southern Americans have an accent, and the people from the South, I mean not Southern American, the people from the South actually have an accent. The people that live in New York have a different accent. So I'm sure in Poland, people who live in Krakow might have a different accent. People who live in Warsaw might have a different accent, and people who live in other parts of Poland might have a different accent. Obviously I wouldn't know, because I can't actually speak the language. Although I'm trying to learn Polish. I did start learning a few weeks ago, just to understand the basics. It's quite easy to learn, to be honest. I did think that it would be difficult, but it's really, really easy. So, what can you do in terms of activities? So it depends. But before you start off doing any activity, I suggest you have a good taste of the local food. They do have various local restaurants in the town centre itself. I don't recommend you go to the shopping centre, because you wouldn't find any local Polish restaurant in the actual shopping centre. But if you go to the town area, then yes, you would see some around. So as you can see, a lot of people are dressed up for the weather. And obviously you should know this by now. I mean, people that travel a lot should know this by now, that if you go to the eastern part of Europe and the northern part of Europe, it tends to be colder than the western part. So in London at the moment, I know it's raining, but I don't think it's this cold. I think it's still slightly warm.
Yes, Poland has a very interesting weather. One thing you need to know about Poland, though, for those that have never, ever, ever stepped their foot there, a lot of people in the UK view Poland as Eastern Europe. Please don't say that in Poland. You're going to get the Polish people very upset. Poland is classed as Central Europe in Poland. So if you ever say to them, oh, I'm so glad to be in Eastern Europe, they'll be like, hold on, this ain't Eastern Europe. Russia is Eastern Europe. That's what they'll tell you. Or Ukraine is Eastern Europe. We are in Central Europe. Okay. I know that, but you guys don't. So just be very mindful. Also, what you'll notice in Poland is very clean. It's one clean country. I love that country. You wouldn't see dirt everywhere. Like, I've been to many countries across the globe, and Poland is just way too clean, which is what I like about it. Alrighty, so the main aim of this video is to talk about the Polish MEP that was obviously banned from coming into the UK. Just before I start talking about that, I want to show you how the main road in Poland is. Also, there's a tourist bus that literally takes tourists around. Initially, when I saw the bus, I thought it was an actual commercial bus. So I got inside of it, just showing people the commercial buses in Poland, because I was in Warsaw. So this is Warsaw, Poland, and Warsaw is the capital of Poland. Anyway, so I found this bus, which we would see in a bit. It's a yellow bus, and literally I was like, hold on, wow. So they have yellow commercial buses in Poland, but it was actually a commercial bus. Anyways, you'll see the bus in a minute, and you'll see how the roads are in lovely Poland.
So there's nothing different at all. So that's TK Maxx. For all you that shop there, or for all those that shop there, I mean, they do have a TK Maxx in Warsaw. So feel free to get your designer stuff from here if you want.
In terms of historical buildings, they have a lot around the town center area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk around some of the buildings for you to have a look. But just before I do that, I'm just going to walk around this
area just to kind of give you a feel of, you know, how things go on a Saturday afternoon. So you can see this man drumming. So a bit of entertainment is always here for you if you want. Yeah, as you can see, it's really busy. Never a dull moment in Warsaw. Always really busy. So this is literally the real streets of Warsaw, yeah? So this is the raw and real streets of Warsaw. Basically, this is me just telling you how it is, not sugarcoating anything, you know.
Also, they do have a yellow bus that you can take around Warsaw. I've not actually tried jumping on the bus, but I'll just show you now how one of their buses look like. So this is a bus that you can take in Warsaw.
I think it's bus 100, and those are the stops it takes you to. So I think this area is Centrum, which means center, I suppose. So it takes you around the city. I'm not sure if they'll let me jump on it. Hi. Do you drive the bus?
Yes, I am.
Is it okay if I walk around and show?
Yes, no problem.
Oh, that's nice of you. Thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to jump on the bus to show you how the bus in Poland looks like. Sorry. So, I suppose this is where you tap your pass and validate it, yeah? Because what tends to happen is when you buy your pass, you have to validate it, so you validate it on there. So it's quite spacious as well. You can tell that it's got a lot of space. So you saw me speaking to the driver earlier. I think he's just about to either change. So what tends to happen is they stop at a station and they change drivers, yeah? So it's either he's looking to change drivers or he's just taking a break, talking to his mates. But I'm not too sure of exactly what he's doing. So you validate your ticket and you sit down. So that's where the driver sits, obviously. I like the retro look, the old look. Sometimes it's always good to leave your things old because it just looks much more attractive, because everything nowadays is too modern. So yeah, so that's how the bus in Warsaw looks like. And I'm sure they have various types of buses in other areas as well. So what tends to happen is if you go to some cities, their bus might be... Thanks again, yeah? Yeah. So if you go to some cities anyway, so their bus might be different. So they might have a red one, they might have a purple one, they might have a black one, although I've never seen a black bus before. But that's what tends to happen anyway. In every major city, they'll have like a certain color bus. Like in London, we have the red bus, yeah? So our bus is red, and that takes you around London. So, yeah. So it's good to obviously see how their bus is, and I like the old school look. Like, it's very old. It looks like it's functioning properly. Maybe I might be opportuned to jump on it sometime before I go, but let's see anyway. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so we're still walking around the town centre area. I could feel the lovely Eastern Europe wind. Is very nice and fresh. A bit of fresh air every now and then is good. So I think that's the Palace of Culture. I'll take you around the area later because I need to cross the road to actually get there. So as you can see, I'm on this road. So I've got to go to. So the way it works in Warsaw is we can't just cross the road. You have to ensure you go to the right place to cross the road, and that's why I like the city. It's very, very organized. Not to lie, I'm the one breaking the law, yeah. So I came here and I literally. So what happens is you have to wait for the light to be literally green to cross. I'll show you one of the crossings later.
If you ever visit Poland, don't jaywalk. Don't jaywalk. They will definitely fine you. That's if the police catches you though. But please don't jaywalk because it's not allowed. Okay, okie dokie. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. So the Polish MEP I'm on about, his name is Sławomir Mencen. Sławomir Mencen. But I don't know if that's how to pronounce it, because I think I got it wrong. But anyways, I'll tell you exactly what happened basically. I think that's how to phrase it. Actually, no, he's not the person that got banned. Let me get my facts right. The person that actually got banned, because I think the name I just mentioned was somebody else literally, and I think he was also held for hours, but I don't know if he was held for hours at the same time as the other Polish MEP I was on about. But this one I just mentioned, Sławomir Mencen, was also held for hours at the London airport before being allowed to enter the UK. So he was held, but he was allowed. But that's not who I'm talking about here. The one I'm talking about, his name is Dominic. So Dominic is a popular MEP, a member of the European Parliament. He's a Polish one. And for some reason, some people don't like him. For me anyway, I feel when it comes to politics, you need to be very careful because, we have, in the UK, for example, we have the left-wing party like Labour, we have the right-wing party like Conservatives. However, the Conservatives are not as right as they used to be. And being right-wing is subjective though, because a lot of people might see a right-wing party as racist, but not necessarily, because the Conservatives in the UK is not racist. It's not a racist party. So just bear that in mind. But anyways, there's a party called Reform, and some people in the UK view it as a far-right party. So in the UK, when we say far-right, it means the party is potentially racist. That's what people say. So this is not my opinion, I'm just saying what people say, because I've got to be neutral when commenting, literally. But there's a guy called Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson. That's how his fans call him. And Tommy Robinson usually does a rally every year. So he has a movement where it's called Unite the Kingdom, literally. So every year they have a match in central London, and Dominic was going to attend that march because Tommy has been to Poland before and Dominic took him round. So I suppose Dominic was coming to do the march. I think he's been to the previous march as well. I think it's something he's looking to do every year. Anyways, so what the Home Office said is, Dear Dominic, your UK ETA has been cancelled from the 12th of May 2026. This means you cannot travel to the UK without a visa. This is because your presence in the UK is not considered to be conducive to the public good. You cannot appeal this decision. So this is what he was given. So my view on that is a bit tricky because in the UK we believe in the right to free speech, the right to religion, the right to life. And the UK is viewed as a free country. But okay, in this situation, he was literally held in the airport and told that he cannot come into the country. So I suppose for me, I need to talk about this a bit more. But let's see what else I was up to on this fateful day in Warsaw, Poland. Because Poland has a lot of interesting things to definitely see. That light to be green is really taking time. I think it's going to be green in a minute. Bang, yeah, it is green now. So I'm crossing the road. So I'm going to show you, like I said, I'm going to show you the Palace of Culture. I'm not sure if you have to pay a fee to go in. But when I checked online, it did say it's free. But sometimes they tell you it's free and you get there and it's not free. So I can't really say. I think the best thing to do is to go there yourself and actually check to see if it's free or not. I might go there later on today or tomorrow. I mean inside of it. But I'm not looking to go inside of it now. So that might be done later on today or tomorrow. So in terms of the sort of people around Warsaw, they've got various types of people. You know, they've got a very diverse set of people here. They've got a lot of young people here, definitely. I noticed that when I arrived yesterday, the population is quite good because you can tell there's a lot of people around. I mean a healthy population, and also they have a lot of young people. So like I always say in all my videos, the more young people they have in an area, the better, because it shows that it's a vibrant city. So that's quite good. So diversity is also okay here as well. I think I said this in my previous video as well. They've got, you know, various people here. I've seen, in terms of like ethnic minorities, I've seen more Chinese people. So there are a lot of Chinese people here. They do have black people here. They do have Indian people here, but they are much more Chinese in terms of diversity. And obviously my Chinese people, they tend to travel a lot, so that's probably why. And I like that though. I think it's really important for people to travel across the world to see what happens in their neighboring countries, or to see what's happening in other continents. I think that's quite good, because the more you know, the better. And I think the more you understand other people's culture, the better as well, because that makes you understand that everyone is the same. You know, we're all human beings. You know, we all have the same brain, you know, so no one is better than the other. So it's quite good that they, you know, that they travel a lot to kind of understand people's culture. Even in my hotel today, there were a lot of Chinese there as well, so I like that. It's really good. They tend to travel a lot. Even in London, there are a lot of Chinese people there as well, So they are very, very well traveled. That's a good thing. So it looks like a really, really busy Saturday. So a lot of cars are parked on the main road. It's funny that it's funny that they let them park on the road like this though, because this is a major part of the city, and they're allowed to park here. They probably have to pay. Who knows? Although I can't see any ticket on their car to show that they've paid, unless they have an electronic system where you pay and you don't need to put a ticket in your car. Oh yeah, I think I've seen a ticket, but I'm not sure if that ticket is in the car for this car park or for this road, so or it's from a previous one, because other people don't have any ticket on their car. But yeah, it's quite interesting. I mean, it's quite interesting that they do allow people park there, because like I said, in most major cities like this, you wouldn't be able to park on the road like this. Okay, so this is the metro station in the town center area. I'm going to try and see if I can show you the inside to kind of show you the vibes. I'm sure it's quite similar to what we have in the UK as well, and it's quite similar to what you have in other parts of Europe, but you can never tell anyway. It's always good to go in and check. As you know, I'm always very nosy in all my videos, so I always like to know what's happening everywhere, literally. Also, I like to go to places like this just to test to see if they'll stop me recording. I just love trying that. I'm sure one day they'll stop me in one of them countries. But yeah, let's see. Let's see how the metro station is in Warsaw. So the Polish pronunciation of Warsaw is Warszawa. Yeah, so if you hear people saying Warszawa, they are literally saying Warsaw. So it's just a bit of, I mean, I'm just giving you a tip here. So, okay, obviously I can't go in because I'm not looking to travel, but I suppose what you do when you get to the metro is you go to the ticket machine, and obviously you pay, you get your ticket, and you jump on the train, yeah? But I think there are some that you buy and you might have to validate before you actually go there, and there are some that you buy and you don't have to validate. But I've not tried going there, so I don't know which ones you validate and which ones you don't. So I just want to see if I can see one of the trains to show you how the train looks like. Okay, so this is Centrum, and I suppose it means center. Who knows? This is a guess, yeah? But so this is Centrum station. And they have some shops that are not opened. Interesting. So this is how a metro station in Poland, Warsaw, looks like. And it's nice and warm here. It feels like the heating is on because it's quite, not too cold, but it's slightly cold outside. So it feels really nice and warm here. So yeah, they do have some shops here as well, which is good. So if you want to do a little bit of shopping before you jump on the train, you can, which is a good thing. And there are people sitting, I suppose, waiting for their train. Yeah, so it's a nice train station, I must say. And I suppose it takes you to the other parts of Warsaw. Okay, so I've showed you the metro station, so I'm just going to take you around the touristy bits, like I said earlier. So the metro station is really good, I must say. It's quite clear where to buy your ticket from. You know, you go to some countries and you're not too sure of what to do. but that is quite straightforward. So the ticket machine is just literally close to the entrance, so all you have to do is buy your ticket and just literally crack on and move on. So that's really good. I think that's a good idea, because I don't like them places where you have to start checking to see, oh, where do I buy my ticket from, you know, what do I do. The only thing I'm not sure of is the validation thing. Like I said, you know, you need to ensure you validate your ticket sometimes, and sometimes you don't need to validate it. So I'm not too sure of what tickets you validate and which ones you don't validate. So I suppose that's where the issue might be. Okay, so that's the Palace of Culture. So it's that big building there. So I'm going to go in to kind of show you what's in there, but I'm not going to go deep inside. I'll just go to the entrance bit for you to see what's there. So you can see it's quite busy. I'm sure there are a lot of tourists in there, which is quite expected anyway. That's the whole point of having that building in the first place. It should have tourists in it. It's lovely being a tourist, you know. Like, imagine you going to work every day, working really hard, and you take time off just to relax and kind of see how things are in your neighboring country, to see how things are even in your country as well, because you can actually take a staycation. So if you're Polish, for example, you might want to see certain things around your local area. Holiday doesn't necessarily mean you traveling abroad. You can actually have a staycation as well. You deserve it anyway if you work hard. So I'm just approaching the entrance. Hopefully they don't tell me to switch off my camera. I doubt it anyway. So far so good. They've not stopped me from recording anywhere, so they shouldn't stop me from recording here. Okay, so we're in the Palace of Culture building. So this is how it looks like. So that's the big building I just showed you earlier. So that's how it looks like when you first go in. Also they have a viewing area. So if you go all the way to the top, you can actually view the whole of Poland there. Not the whole of Poland, sorry, the whole of Warsaw there. But I'm sure you have to pay a fee. There's no way that's free. Although I'm not sure if the entrance is free, but I don't think the viewing area would be free anyway. It would be silly if it's free. Normally places like that requires a fee. Okay, so I think this is where they have the ticket prices. Let's see. Okay, so that's for viewing, the viewing terrace. So ticket price is 25. So PLN means Polish zloty. So it's 25 Polish zloty to obviously view the stay in the viewing terrace. They have a discounted price of 20 Polish zloty, and that's for children over the age of children over 3 years of age, okay, and also students under 26 years of age, pensioners and person who are at least 65 year old. Okay, interesting. So they do have discounted prices for certain people, but I don't think they will discount my price anyway. I'm a grown man that has to pay, literally. Okay, so that's that in terms of payment. If you're saying you only pay for the viewing terrace, I'm not sure if they will charge me to go in. Should I try to be nosy to go in? Let me find that. Let me find that to entry. I think that might be the entry to the viewing terrace. So to enter on the viewing terrace, your ticket. Hi. Is it free to obviously look around?
I don't know. Also.
Oh, you know, you're
checking back.
Sorry. Apologies. Sorry. Do you pay to look around, or you don't pay to look around?
Rozumiem.
Oh, you don't pay. So you know.
Ale ja nie rozumiem po polsku, rozumiem, nie rozumiem po angielsku.
Oh, you don't speak English. Oh yeah.
This is the spider, how to say it?
Yeah.
I don't know. There is a spider, there is an elevator for the 30th floor on the top.
Terrace, yeah.
But
Okay, so
I think this is the pay. And
okay, this is non-pay.
I don't know.
You don't know. Okay.
You see the line, I think it is pay.
Okay, so like I said earlier, I'm not going to be political in this video. Very important, even as a content creator, you need to be mindful of taking sides. So this is how I see it anyway. I agree with the UK government in the sense that there are certain people that view Dominic as fighting for them, basically. And what I mean by that is, Dominic claims that the reason why Poland is progressive is because they don't have a lot of immigrants. But I think that is quite controversial because in the UK, yes, there's a migrant issue, but I don't think the UK is having problems because of immigrants. That is crazy to say. Number one, the UK has a number of ethnic minorities, but their population is significantly low. So you can't say the reason why there's crime or the reason why the NHS don't have enough money or the reason why there's pressure on public resources is because of immigrants. That is crazy. And I mean that though because the significant population within the UK is the indigenous English people. So one cannot say that. Though one can argue that, okay, yes, there are illegal people coming in, so that might affect public resources. But we cannot just have a blanket approach and say, oh, he's the immigrants that are causing it. Because Dominic, not to lie, is not just focusing on illegal immigrants. He's talking about immigration as a whole. So I don't agree with that. Also, I think the government were right in the sense that having people like that come to the country would obviously make more people like him come over and influence people to think in a certain way. And let me tell you what the impact of this is. The locals here, that's everyone of every race, will start getting affected by that because the people that follow him, for example, will start looking at other people in a certain way. Like, how do you know if somebody on the road is an immigrant or an illegal immigrant? You cannot tell by just looking at their faces, yeah? And I think they stopped him from coming to the country because there's a potential for him to spread hate amongst the population in the country. And I think that's really critical because that's the work of the government, to protect its people, its culture, and anything within the country. Though the other side would argue that they are not protecting their culture. And I see why people think in a certain way. Like, I see why people think things are changing. But the thing is, the UK was built on the back of various minorities, basically, yeah? This country was built by everyone, not just one particular race. It was built by everyone, literally. Though you can argue that a long time ago, we didn't have a lot of a particular race or races, fine. But you can't say that the other minorities have not pulled their weight. They have. They have. And I'm not going to lie, the reason why I love this country is because we show compassion. We are tolerant.
we are there to help our neighbors. Yeah, like in the UK, your neighbor might not talk to you, but if something was going to happen to your property, or if they see somebody unusual next to your property, they would call the bloody police. Yeah, UK is a great country. I'll give you an example. In America, a lot of people own weapons, yeah, and they kill each other. But in the UK, yes, there's crime. I'm not gonna lie, especially in London. I still prefer to stay in London, although I don't live in London. I live in Essex, but I still prefer the UK than America. I'd rather live in the UK than living in America. That's for sure. I don't even think I would think about it deeply, and that's how deep it is. And also, I think Poland is being viewed by certain people as a bad country because of the sort of people that come here and spread a particular narrative. And this is what I do not like though, because I love Poland and I don't want people to think, oh, if I go to Poland, the likes of Dominic would harass me. Even I don't even know Dominic properly. Like, I'm just going by what we see. So I don't know if Dominic is a certain type of person. To be fair, he's never ever said he doesn't like other people from other countries or other races. He's never said that. I don't think I've ever seen a video of him saying that. I think what he normally says is, if you don't protect your culture, then there's a possibility of it impacting the country. I think that's what he focuses on, yeah? But the thing is, I don't think it's helpful to spread that to the UK, because the UK, though it does, I mean, we need to be careful, though it doesn't have a lot of ethnic minorities in some parts, it's still a very diverse country. Okay, so we've spoken about the Polish MEP, and I think it will be good for people just to understand the way I felt when I first got to Poland. Listen, I was told by so many people not to visit Poland. They're like, what is in Poland? Like, what do you want to see in Poland? And I was quite impressed. Like, Poland is viewed as this country that is not up there. But you've gotten it twisted. Poland is a great country. Like, a lot of Polish people who used to live in the UK have moved back because Poland is growing rapidly. Also, what I realized when I got to Poland was how good their transport system is. Listen, you can literally travel anywhere. Like, they've got a good railway system. I hope things don't change. Like, you can get a first class ticket for like £25. Imagine. You can never get that in the UK. No bloody way. Minimum for a first class ticket, you're talking 200. That's an intercity train. Because this is an intercity train I'm talking about. So like taking a train from Warsaw to Krakow. I was seeing tickets for like £25 for first class. And I'm like, I'm bloody buying that. I am bloody buying it. And the good thing about the first class seat is you do get a seat. You do get a bloody seat. Okie dokie. So this was the very first time I stepped into Poland, mate. See what I was up to. How Warsaw is. Hopefully we find a lot of interesting things. Let's go. Okay, so I arrived yesterday around 12ish in the afternoon, and what I did was I did a little walk around just to see how Warsaw is. And what I did notice is a lot of people in Warsaw are they're quite friendly, and they were quite supportive as well. So there were times whereby I was not too sure of where to go to, and I spoke to some locals and they helped me out. So that's really good. So hopefully today we find some friendly people, and I get to show you more about Warsaw.
So as you can see, it's just like any other city across Europe. You know, they have supermarkets as usual. What I did notice is in this local area where my hotel is, the restaurants are not that busy for some reason. I did have Chinese yesterday in the evening. I'll show you the restaurant I went to later on, and it was not busy at all. It was literally me and somebody else. Actually, me and some other lady and a friend that were there. So it was not that busy actually. So I don't know if it's just the area I'm staying in, or it wasn't that busy. But today I'll take you, maybe not in this vlog, but another one. I'll take you to the actual center for you to have a feel of how the actual shopping center area is, and also talk you through some parts of Warsaw that are quite popular. So this is literally how the suburban area of Warsaw is. Obviously this is not the center, so this is what you would see.
In terms of the sort of food you'd find here, I did struggle to find local Polish food. I don't know if they don't have a lot of Polish restaurants where I'm staying. They might have it in the inner city, but I did check around for local Polish restaurants in my area, and there was hardly any. So I had to obviously think of where to go to obviously have dinner, and I ended up going to a Chinese restaurant, and the food was really good actually. That was actually the best Chinese I've ever had. I've not had Chinese as good as that before, which is quite odd though, considering we're in Eastern Europe. Also, in terms of local transport, they do have a tram, and they have a metro as well, and they do have Uber as well, so you can get that from the airport to your destination. The Uber is really cheap in Poland though. So yesterday from where I was to my hotel, it was literally like 53 minutes to an hour to get there, and it only cost me about £26 altogether. So if this was the UK and I was traveling, let's say from Heathrow to my house, which is about the same amount of time or even more, you're looking at £120 minimum basically. But here it was really cheap. £26 all the way from Warsaw Modlin Airport to Radisson Blu Hotel. So I'm staying in Radisson Blu anyway. I was really shocked. It's so cheap, and even the food here is really cheap as well.
So in terms of traveling around, you can obviously buy tickets in the local area. So you, I think next to each tram station, there's always a machine where you can buy tickets from.
So I've got to correct myself. So earlier I said this is when I first stepped foot into Poland. Sorry, what I was meant to have said is this is the first time I decided to record in Poland. So I did come a day before, but because I was quite knackered when I arrived, really tired. So I couldn't really record anything. What I had to do that day when I landed was to look for food. And I went to this lovely Chinese restaurant. I know I should be going to a Polish restaurant on day one, but I didn't. So I had to find a restaurant close to the hotel, and the food was banging. And I think the following day I had Georgian food in a different restaurant not far away from my hotel. But anyways, it was good. And I think on day 3, I went to a lovely Polish restaurant and the food was wow. That's all I can say. Wow. Poland has great food, and actually, I'm beginning to think I should do a weekend in Poland. Should I go Krakow? I love Krakow. Yeah, because last time I went to Krakow, I went for a day trip from Warsaw. So maybe I should spend a weekend in Krakow. What do you think, guys? I love it. I'm going there for the dumplings though, guys, yeah? So if you're an ethnic minority and you're scared of Poland, don't go. Let me eat all the dumplings. Yeah? Okay. So I think this is where I'm going to have to leave it. And I'm going to leave it here because there are more videos of Poland to come. And I think we'll be looking at things like, is Poland racist, or why Poland is not racist? You just wait and see what I bring out. Because I think I would like to share my views with my Polish subscribers, because I need to really show people how wonderful Poland is. It is the most underrated country in the world. Poland is so good that if people find out how good it is, the Polish people might hate me for that. But I've got to publicize your country, Poles, yeah? You know, dzień dobry. I've got to. Huh? Okay. So this is where I'm going to have to leave you. Like, comment, and subscribe. And be on the lookout for more Polish videos in the next coming days. Bang, bang, bang. I'm gone.